Raoul stands at the edge of a skyscraper and drops a penny. The height of the penny in meters is given by the function f of x equals negative 5.8 x squared plus 26, where x is the number of seconds after Raoul releases the penny. Camille, who is standing nearby on the ground, throws a penny straight up in the air. The height of Camille's penny in meters is given by the function g of x equals negative 5.8 x squared plus 24x, where x is the number of seconds after she releases her penny. There is a moment when the pennies are at the same height. What is the height rounded to the nearest tenth? Chloe is here with her latest tips and tricks. She wants you to know when a table has x, f of x, and g of x, the solution when f of x equals g of x is the x value. To determine which graph represents f of x equals g of x, plug an x value into one equation to get the y value. The x value where two functions intersect is the solution. Set the functions equal to each other to find the solution algebraically. Now that we have Chloe's tips and tricks, we can see here that she let us know that if you set the functions equal to each other, you can find the solution to this problem algebraically. Now, before we start with that, let's just look at some of the information they gave us. They told us that the height of the penny in meters is given by the function f of x. Same thing down here. The height of Camille's penny is in meters and it's given by the function g of x. So do you see how my f of x and my g of x are both height measured in meters? Then we also have our x is the number of seconds. So this is time. Same thing down here in Camille, it's x, it's the number of seconds. So this is important because when you write a value x comma y, my x is also going to be x comma f of x or x comma g of x, just depending on which formula. But what is the truly most important part here is to know that x is your time, your seconds. H is my y, height in meters. So when we are looking at this problem, the very last line says, what is the height rounded to the nearest tenth? So we are looking for height, meaning we are looking for the y value. But when we set them equal to each other, what we're actually going to get is the x value. So after we get the x value, we'll have to plug it into one of the equations to get the y value. So let's start by setting both of these functions equal to each other. F of x and g of x are both the same thing as y. Y equals negative 5.8 x squared plus 26 and y equals negative 5.8 x squared plus 24x. The only reason they use f of x and g of x is to keep it separate so that you know they're two different functions. So I'm going to go ahead and set them equal to each other. And then I'm going to solve for x. So I'll start by adding 5.8 x squared to both sides. Those will end up canceling on the left and on the right. And that will leave me with 26 equals 24x. Then we will divide by 24 on each side. 24 will cancel on the right. And we have x equals 26 divided by 24 is approximately 1.0833 seconds. Now, that was our time. That's our x value. We don't want time. We want to know when they are at the same height. So we have to go ahead and plug in x into one of our formulas. It does not matter if you pick the f of x or the g of x function. Doesn't matter. I went ahead and picked f of x because it was a little bit shorter, so that's why. Didn't have that x on the end. So I have negative 5.8 x squared plus 26. I am going to plug in 1.0833 for my x. So that is approximately equal to negative 5.8 times 1.0833 squared plus 26. And 1.0833 squared is the same as 1.1735 approximately. Then we'll multiply that by negative 5.8 and get negative 6.8063. And then we'll add 26 to that and we get approximately 19.1937. Now, notice how I didn't round. I mean, I did round, but I only rounded to 4 spots. I did not round to the 10th as I was doing my work. You want to round at the very end. So you want to keep as many numbers as you possibly can so that you get the proper answer when rounding. So when we round this to the nearest tenth, I see 9 is greater than 5, so I am going to have to add 1 to my 1. So that will become 19.2. And remember, y, or my f of x and g of x, was height. So we have 19.2 meters is the height that when they drop these pennies or throw the penny up in the air, that is when they are going to meet each other at 19.2 meters.